I am currently inside Final Cut. I want to look at optimizing the interface. As of now, we have a classical 2-up editor, meaning that on the left hand side we have a viewer which refers to our browser, and on the right hand side we have a viewer which refers to our timeline or project. This on the left hand side is overkill. I really don't need it. I don't need the libraries, I don't need the browser, and I don't need the event viewer. So I'm going to come here to the window menu, and I see here I've got the options to hide the libraries, the browser, and indeed the event viewer. In this case, I'm going to select hide browser, and that will get rid of all 3 of those windows in one foul swoop. Now I'm focused. I've got a viewer which refers to my project, to my timeline, and this helps me to add my titles. On the right hand side, I see I have a inspector. If I'm not seeing the inspector, it's window and command 4, hide inspector or show inspector. Come in here. This is now show inspector, and this is useful. This gives me additional information and it helps me to tweak my subtitles. So I want to leave this open for the moment, and I want to make a mental note here. It has different tabs. One of these tabs is a thing called a info tab, and in here I have roles. Currently I have a video and dialogue. When I add text elements, I will have a text role turning up here in the information tab of the inspector. Down here in the bottom left hand corner, I have a timeline index. If I'm not seeing that, it's underneath window, and I can switch it on and off here. I've just switched to hide timeline index, and now I switch to show timeline index. And usually this is set to clips, and I have a list of all the clips in my project, and I can tab across here through tags over to roles, and again I have roles, and I see I have a video role and a dialogue role. And when I add text, I will have a text role, and this will become important when previewing my titles, in particular multiple language titles. If I want to get rid of that window, I can also do so here with this little button down at the bottom left hand corner. In my case, I'm going to switch it off for the moment. I'm going to want that later when I'm doing my previewing. Here over on the right hand side, I currently have the browser open. It's the effects browser in this case, and I can toggle this on and off again underneath the window menu. Underneath media browser, there's the effects option or command 5, and I can actually switch this to titles. And this is good for working with subtitles, obviously, and in particular I will start off using lower third titles, so that's down here. So I'm going to leave the browser switched on, and it's actually the titles browser in this case. I'm going to look down here at the bottom right hand corner of the project window, and I have a section called clip appearances, and I can change some stuff in here. So for example, I can change the clip height. I want the clips to be higher, and I want less pictograms, less of those little thumbnails, and I want more of those audio waveforms, and that will help me to actually find the dialogue that I want to add the subtitles to. And I can also come in here, and this is usually set to clip names, and I can switch this to clip roles. Again, roles will help me to organize all of my text elements. So here I see I have a video and dialogue. My clip is now named according to the roles assigned to it. And again, this becomes important, particularly when we're doing our subtitles. I'm going to look at one more thing here in the timeline viewer. Up here at the top right hand corner, I have a view menu. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to select show title action safe zones, and I see in here in my viewer I have 2 boxes. The outside box is an action safe box, the inside box is a title safe box, And I need to pay attention to this and make sure that my titles are inside these boxes, inside the inner box. And this is particularly important when I am going for broadcast, and different broadcasters have different boxes. So I need to do my homework and make sure that I have my titles inside the right box. So I'm now basically set up. I have Final Cut as a simple player. I can use the usual keys that you would use in any player like JKL, and I can start dragging my titles here from my titles browser into my timeline, setting in and out points, trimming, and I can come up here to my inspector and I can select those text elements and tweak them.